Yes, MAGA farmers are crying.
As a black farmer, it is hilarious when I hear white farmers complain about how they're losing their government subsidies and how they can't support their farms. My farm is closing down. You know, y'all acting just like a hoe acts like when their sugar daddy moves away, you know. You start crying because he don't leave that light bill money on the freaking nightstand he used to, huh? No, stop crying. Stop bitching. Your people have had centuries of a head start on black farmers. And yet, for some reason, every other video that I seen on damn Farm Talk, you know, the farm side of freaking TikTok, I'm seeing white farmers bitching, whining, and complaining. Excuse me, my people couldn't even read at one point. So why in the hell am I doing less bitching than you? You've been given everything. Imagine being so privileged that you're sitting on stolen land crying, "Daddy government, come save me. I can't afford to pay for my stolen land." Damn!
Farmers are going bankrupt in waves, right? We see that. But here's the thing. The very man that most of them voted for lit half the match. And every time a family farm dies, somehow it's the billionaires and corporations walking away with more land. You think that's a coincidence? Let's start with the trade war in 2018. Trump slapped tariffs on China. Soybean exports gone. Prices crashed. And farmers sat on mountains of crops that they couldn't sell. Then came the bailouts. $28 billion in so-called aid. But look at the receipts, right? The top 10% of farms swallowed most of that money. Small family-owned farms? Pennies. Folks in Arkansas and the Midwest saw their neighbors lose land. All while mega operations cashed checks. And if we fast forward to now, Trump's promise of more help, it sounded real nice on stage, huh? But the structure has not changed. The policies tilt towards whoever's the biggest, not whoever's struggling. And when those farms fold, the land doesn't vanish, it gets scooped up. Bill Gates owns over 240,000 acres. BlackRock, foreign companies, hedge funds, all buying dirt cheap. Meanwhile, Trump's administration cut back on antitrust enforcement. That meant that seed and chemical giants kept jacking up the input prices. So farmers were squeezed on both ends, paying more to plant and getting less when they sold. In the safety net, Trump gutted programs like the Conservation Stewardship Program. That rewarded small-scale sustainability, while doubling down on subsidies that benefit corporate-scale operations. So tell me again how that's helping family farms? So here's the pattern, right? Trade wars cripple markets. Bailouts feed the giants. Deregulation lets agribusiness hike costs. And the small guys, they drown. Then right on time, the billionaires show up with open checkbooks. Corporations expand and politicians spin it as bad luck, or the market. But every so-called accident clears the board for the same winners. So no, this isn't just economics, it's politics. This is design. Trump stood on stage and called himself the farmer's guy, but his policies greased the slide that pushed family farms into bankruptcy and left their land ripe for billionaires to grab. Bananas, soybeans, now farmland, different product, same empire. The only coincidence that some of us are still out here pretending that it's not on purpose.
Oh, hey, world, did you know that America's farmers voted for the dumb fuck 78%? And did you also know that they have filed a lawsuit against the big fat fuck in the White House because, you know, Joe gave them money and Donnie took it away. So let me get this straight, you dumb fucks. Joe gave you money to bail your stupid asses out. You know, you guys couldn't pull yourself up or something from your bootstraps. It's okay for you to take the socialism, but abso-fucking-lutely not that single mom. Yeah, so you were gonna take it from Joe. You were so excited about all that money he was gonna give you. And then Donnie came in and ripped that contract right the fuck up and said, the Reduction Inflation Act is no longer. And now you dumb fucks are literally suing him because you're gonna lose your farms. Good. Oh, Danielle, you're rooting for an American company to go under? Fuck yes, I am! I voted for you to stay in business! I screamed at the rooftops for years about what would fucking happen if Donald Trump was put back into office. And 78% of you said, fuck you, we know better. And now 78% of you are super fucked. Actually, all 100% of farmers are super fucked, but the 78% who voted for it, I hope you fucking lose your family farm. In fact, I hope you have to pack up your entire fucking existence and hopefully not be houseless because the dumb fuck you voted for made that criminal. And also, are you confused about where all your workers are? Again, your dumb fuck took them to an unknown location, so you can't even find them if you wanted to. So yes. Oh, and by the way, you dumb fucking farmers, do your damn research. JD Vance bought fucking lots of stock in real estate in buying up foreclosed farmland. That's weird. But it's almost like he knew what was gonna fucking happen when Trump took away the Inflation Reduction Act. They're too stupid to even understand that. I mean, I don't even know why I'm trying.
Some farmers really thought we was coming to get in them fields. Is that what I'm reading? Y'all really thought we was coming to get in those fields. It's funny when black people say stuff like over a year ago when we said that Donald Trump specifically saying that immigrants were coming over here to steal black jobs meant that him deporting them was supposed to open the door for us to get back in the fields. Of course, immediately, most people said, y'all are reaching. Now here we are. They are literally on Twitter, all over social media, complaining about the fact that we did not come into those fields. I get the unemployment rate is rising rapidly in the black community. I believe for us, it's about 7% compared to about 4.5% for just about any other demographic. But that also means that 93% of us have jobs. 93% of us are working. And 93% of us were never coming out into those fields to pick your stupid crops. Y'all are supposed to be the pick them up by their bootstraps people, right? Y'all are always the ones talking about earn this, that, hard work, this, that. But then y'all never want to do your own damn work. Y'all brought us over here, all right? We spent hundreds of years doing that stuff for free. We spent another 100 years after that with Jim Crow rights. We fought, bled, died, protested, did everything we possibly could to gain the rights that we have now. We live in this country, we work, we own businesses. We are not going back to your fields. Can y'all just let that shit go? Like, can y'all let it go? It ain't gonna happen. And there's nothing you're gonna do to make it happen. You don't got the numbers. You don't have the manpower. We're not going back. The experiment failed, okay? And now guess what's happening? Food is rotting in the ground because y'all really thought we was coming back out there.
Wait a minute. So farmers are suing Trump because they want their stimulus checks back. Oh, no. Y'all voted for this, remember? Elections have consequences, baby. So here's the tea. Joe Biden and Congress put grants together to give money to farmers. Trump gets in and what does he do? Cuts contracts, snatches the money, and leaves the farmers high and dry. But now the same folks who cheered him on are like, we want our money. Now let's connect the dots real quick on something. For decades, farmers have been living on government handouts, billions in subsidies to keep their farms afloat. While some of those same farmers turn around and point their fingers at families on food stamps. And they have the nerve to call them welfare queens. Nah, let's call it what it is. The biggest welfare queens in American society are wearing overalls, not wigs and heels. And here's the irony. Farmers love to preach about pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. Well, guess what, farmers? Take your own advice. If you can't sustain your farm without taxpayer bailouts, maybe farming ain't your ministry, boo. Because my tax dollars and your tax dollars shouldn't be propping up businesses that can't sustain on their own.
This is my 39th crop. I started in 1986, the year I graduated high school. I could plant an acre of beans in 1986 for 30 bucks. It irritates me that you don't have the guts to acknowledge that the people do not pay the tariffs. I don't care if it's John Deere, Case, Caterpillar, All that stuff is outsourced overseas. And the guy that pays it is the guy that purchased it. I can buy a bearing for a combine, and it's made in Taiwan or who knows where. Parts have over doubled in the last year, if you can get them. The dealer at Marshall has a backlog for almost 4 months because they can't get parts because of Trump's stupid tariffs. I think agriculture has taken a heck of a hit on a lot of misinformation, and he is not helping the farmer. I mean, we farm about 3,500 acres. We are going to be so far in the red. When are you going to stand up for us instead of kissing his ass for these trade deals? And the tariffs, more so the tariffs than the trade.
And can you guys believe that they are finally waking up? The MAGA farmers are finally waking up. They are finally noticing the Orange Buffon with his project 2025. What he wanted is to take their farms away. What he wanted is to ruin farmers. And all what the Orange Buffon always want all along in all this time is to ruin the economy, because the Orange Buffon is a Russian agent, and Russian they just want to take over the United States. That's what they always want. And he always, the Orange Buffon, in all this time, in all these many years, he had worked for Russian. And yes, you hear it here in Jenny React. I'm telling you, he is a Russian worker. He worked for them. That's the reason why he's ruining our economy. And of course, he's gonna take all the subsidies. He's not gonna give no subsidies to the farmers. All the things that he's doing is for ruin the economy and ruin farmers, because also J.D. Vance, he has all his money, all his wealth have been made of taking away farms and just selling it to corporations. That's what he been doing for years by now. Okay, this is the whole plan all along. And yes, and I'm glad the black farmers, okay, because they never participated or any kind of subsidies for the government. They are
I can't believe that the policies I voted for are having an adverse effect on my ability to run my farm. First, ICE shows up and deports all my workers that I secretly hate but need to support my lifestyle. And now inflation's made it impossible to buy farming equipment. Man, racism's expensive. And the climate change I don't believe in has set my crops back decades. Well, you know the tariffs that God told us would save the economy? Well, apparently, they're the reason I can't sell any of my soybeans outside the country. They're getting them cheaper elsewhere. What the hell are we supposed to do now? What if we beg Daddy Trump to give us a handout just to get us by? Isn't that socialism? I think it only counts as socialism if the money goes to someone we hate. Whew, thank God. I thought I was going to have to learn something from all this.
When did farmers become the villains? When did the disconnect happen is what I don't understand.
So that's what we got for American farmers, is zero empathy. Last thing I want is an American farmer to go under because us as Americans didn't want to do anything to support them.
Oh my God, can you guys just stop lying for 2 seconds? Please, just stop lying. Nobody's mad at you because you're a farmer. We all recognize how important farmers are. We all appreciate farmers. We're mad at you because you voted for this, and you're playing victim as if you didn't vote for this. And I don't even mean this in a fuck around and find out type of way, because you already found out in his first term. His horrible policies led to him having to bail you out, and you knew this. That's why I know you didn't vote for him because of the farm or because of the economy. You voted for him for different reasons. And let's start being honest. Your community is a huge reason why we have a sociopath in office, why we have an adjudicated rapist in office, why we have someone who tried to overthrow our government in office, why we have a 34-time felon in office, why we have a president who is actively ruining every part of our economy. in office. You voted for that, knowing that he was going to do it because he did it to you in the first term, and y'all didn't care because trans people or something. Also, sidebar, I voted for you. For what it's worth, I voted for you, okay? Leftists voted for you. The left voted for you. We vote for a collective. We vote for other people. To sit here and act like, this is America, why are we not rooting for each other? That's what our vote does. That's how we look at elections. That's how we look at candidates. For you to come to us and say, how come the people who want everybody to have healthcare, who wants everybody to have public education, who wants everybody to have childcare, how come they don't want to be a part of this community that we have over here? How come they're mad at us? When we voted for you, and we voted for the exact solution that you are asking for right now, is absolutely insane.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I need you blue state liberals to stop calling the farmers who voted for their own personal financial ruin stupid. It's infantilizing. They aren't stupid. To actually manage a farm effectively requires insane depths of knowledge in math, science, logistics. These people aren't dumb. But what they are learning, for I think in some cases the first time in their lives, is how expensive racism is. They heard Trump loud and clear when he said that he would deport their labor force and that he would tariff essentially all of the inputs they need to run their facilities. And they absolutely heard him when he claimed over and over again that the US gave too much to the world in aid, and therefore those aid streams, which most often include the food these farmers grow, would be cut. They heard it all. They just didn't believe it. They thought this was just Trump 1.0 and there would be enough adults in the room to say, hey, this is reckless. We can't do this because it will dismantle the economy. Yeah, a lot of farmers were hurt during the first Trump administration. Thanks to his reckless trade wars, particularly with China, a lot of them went bankrupt. And the bailouts that originally happened under Trump's first term didn't mostly even go to these small-scale farmers. It ended up going to big agribusiness. And I have a feeling, if past is prologue, we're gonna see that happen again if bailouts happen at all. Because the reality is these people do not actually want to save these small-scale farms. People in this admin, like J.D. Vance, very specifically invested in things like Acre Trader. Their goal is for these farmers to go bankrupt so that they can consolidate, buy up huge swaths of their land, and make a fortune. So I'm not gonna lie to you, there is very little incentive for anybody in this administration to actually give these farmers a bailout, no matter how angry and white and male they are. I doubt there are any farmers listening to this at the moment, but the billionaires do not care about you. They actually just want to take your stuff. So even if a bailout does come, and I doubt an effective one will, but if it does, it is going to be meager enough to keep these people in dire financial straits. Because the goal of a lot of these billionaires and investment firms is to make them desperate enough to sell. So you can say goodbye to small-scale family farms, that's for sure. What's kind of funny about this is that Let's Go Brandon tried to bail you out for real. And that's probably the last time anyone will, so.
So American farmers are now praying, especially in Arkansas. They out here at town halls praying for relief, asking for bailouts when they're the same people who voted against bailouts because they said, you know, we shouldn't be bailing people out of situations. Now they're on here crying about they're about to lose their farms. And one of the guys, his name is, his page on here is Rolling Homies. He's on a whole tirade, mad at us and saying, so this is what y'all gonna do? Y'all are saying that, you know, just who cares about the farms because how we voted? It's not very American. Sir, it wasn't very American when you decided to vote against minorities, your wife, your daughter, and frankly, your own damn self. That wasn't very American. You voted for a pedophile, racist, who doesn't care about anybody but lining the pockets of himself and his rich cronies. And what you failed to do is realize that we were telling you what was going to happen, but your racism took place and you didn't want to vote for the black lady. The black lady who had a plan for farmers. Y'all let racism win, and now you're mad at everybody else because you made a choice and you let racism win. And instead of you being mad at Donald Trump, you're coming for all the people telling you, oh, well, this is what you get. And you're in your feelings. This is a classic weak-ass, mediocre white man trope. Y'all sit up here and be in your feelings about shit that you created. You started this. Y'all created this. You and your wives and everybody else that voted for this, because black people overwhelmingly voted for Kamala Harris, who had a plan for you. So while you're sitting up here saying it's un-American to want businesses to fail because what's going to happen is foreign entities, and it's probably that company, I think it's called Acre land or something to that matter, they come in and they buy up farms and then they resell it. And so you're on here saying, well, you're going to let a company come in and buy American land, a foreign company come in and buy American land and take our farms away. No, you did that, Bookie. You did that, rolling homies. You and your homies that you roll with did that when you voted for Donald Trump. And if you want to be mad at anybody, go on over to Pennsylvania Avenue and talk to him. But get off this internet trying to come for us and saying we're going to be sorry when we lose our food. Man, we are losing benefits, people losing jobs, people losing houses, people losing education benefits. People are losing the ability to buy food because they can't afford it. What are you talking about? Why do you think y'all the only ones affected? And the only reason y'all are saying something now is because the trickle has happened and it started to affect you. But you did this, sir. So what I need you to do is have several fucking seats. Go talk to your cronies. Y'all better figure something out. But we ain't got nothing for you. You got what the hell you voted for. And if you're mad about that, you can be mad at yourself. Take accountability. That's a start. That's what everybody else does. Figure it out.
Farmers are broke and they're asking for a handout. Socialism, which 2/3 of them voted for this moron in chief in the White House, and now all of a sudden now they need socialism, something that they say they're against, but always telling everybody else to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. They don't deserve any fucking thing. If we as Americans couldn't get a simple $20,000, upwards of $20,000 off from our student loans, then you can't get a fucking bailout. You deserve to lose everything. You deserve to lose every cow, every pig, every soybean, every piece of corn, your house, everything. You deserve to lose every fucking thing because you voted for this. 2/3 of you voted for this because you hated the fact that there was people in this country that was different than you, that didn't believe in the same things that you believe, that wanted everything for everybody. That is what we was voting for. We was voting for you too. Any of us, any black person, any woman, any queer people, anything. All we wanted was for everybody in this country to have a fair shake, to be able to pull themselves up by their bootstraps and do fine, which everybody could if we actually had empathy in this country and gave a fuck about each other. But we know the type of people that I'm referring to that don't care about other people. They just care about themselves. And now you want to cry and boo-hoo and ask for help and for socialism when you are the one that's in need of help. No. Absolutely not. They don't deserve that. You deserve to lose your farm. You deserve for a big corporation to come in and buy up every fucking thing. That is what you deserve. You deserve to lose your house, your car, your everything. Because you need to be taught a lesson. And one thing I was always taught growing up, and it's the saying, I know a lot of you know it, especially my people, is a hard head make a soft ass. You need to learn the hard way. You need to pull yourself up by their bootstraps.
Today in Trump's America, small town farms in Arkansas are begging for welfare. They can't sell their soybeans to China. Who knew that so many farmers were making $10,000 an acre from China? Who knew? But instead of pulling up their bootstraps, they're going for welfare. They're going for subsidies. They're going for American handouts. Just mere months after saying, we don't support welfare programs, cut Medicare, cut Medicaid, cut everything to these LGBTQIARSTUV people. Pull up your bootstraps, Arkansas. Sell something Americans want to buy. Talk to your man, Donnie Darko, about the Department of War, because hell, they might be coming to your town soon. He might be bringing the National Guard to Arkansas and you won't have any farmland left anyway. Look, folks, Donnie Darko is destroying America, and if you can't see it, it's a part of the Heritage Foundation, Project 2025. Go look it up. It's a blueprint. Donnie Darko is following it to a T.
So, watching these farmers on the internet and in these interviews on these news channels brings one thing to mind to me. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So you mean to tell me you want the federal government to bail you out after you voted the way you voted? You voted for this. Mind you, this freak did the same thing to the farming community the last time he was in office, and you all had to be bailed out. So you want taxpayer dollars to bail you out again when this is what you voted for. The level of delusion and privilege is mind-blowing to me. And then you're upset that people lack empathy for you when you had no empathy for anyone else. You voted the same lunatic in office, and he screwed you the last time, and you're shocked that he's screwing you again. Make it make sense. Like I said before, MAGA, y'all are not smart. Y'all are not smart. I'm not sure why you keep doing the same thing and expecting different results. So you shouldn't get any sympathy. You should not be bailed out. You should sit in it because this is what you voted for. These are your choices. And you can't say you didn't know because...
Have you noticed that there's one group that has not made any noise or made videos complain about Trump's policies hurting them or their business? Black farmers. How many videos have you seen of black farmers, excuse me, making videos going, oh, I'm going to lose my farm because Trump cut off benefits. I'm going to lose my farm because the Department of Agriculture no longer gives me subsidies. How many videos have you seen of black farmers doing that? That's because black farmers have historically, till this day, been excluded from all government subsidies. So right now, every white farmer is learning how to survive the same way black farmers have been surviving. Like I said, what Trump was going to do was bring every white American down to the black American level.
So I'm a black farmer, and you ask me, can you make money off of raising pigs? Well, let's go over some numbers. So a pig mama, or sow as we call them, if she only has 10 piglets, and they can have an average of 10 to 13 piglets at a time, and you can breed them 3 times a year, and they'll have piglets twice a year. But say that my average sow only has 10 piglets. If I charge $750 per whole pig that I've raised to slaughter, that's $7,500. And if I have 10 sows, well, that's $75,000. And mind you, here's a special thing. If I breed them twice a year, that's $150,000 off of just meat alone. And if I sell piglets, well, I'm gonna sell them for $150 a piece, or if they're purebred pig, $200 a piece. So you're talking about anything, anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000 a piece. And I ain't got to even raise those pigs. I'm just selling them off. Yes. It's very profitable to be a hog farmer. And now you see why people like Deontay Cow, Justin Scott, Son M Show, always talk smack about black men like myself. The fact of the matter is, what I'm doing is called nation building. What they're doing is yapping on the internet. You see, it's very easy to go to Harvard or go to any other higher institution to become a professor. Very easy to get a freaking podcast. It's very easy to sit in your mama's basement and just yap and yap and yap. But to do the actual nation building shit that I'm doing right now, there ain't a whole lot of black men doing it. And I know for a fact because the largest civil rights settlement in U.S. history was Pickford v. Glickman, where the USDA in this country targeted black farmers for generations. And we collectively won that lawsuit. The largest civil rights settlement in U.S. history. So don't tell me there's a whole bunch of black farmers doing what I'm doing. The fact of the matter is the freaking U.S. government made sure there weren't a whole lot of black farmers doing what I'm doing. So can it be very, very profitable? Sure. But one of the biggest things that you're going to face is not so much the white people, but it's the coons on the internet who's going to give you the hardest time. So nation building and selling pork and doing that kind of stuff is hard work, but it's very profitable. You know, unlike sitting on the internet and yapping and hoping to get a sponsor and wondering when your 15 seconds of fame is going to be up.
And I'm just so glad the black farmers are doing so well. Yes, because they never participated of the subsidies of the government had for farmers. Remember, it's a history of discrimination. They have been present with farmers, and I'm gonna click here, gonna put you the video here where I talk about the whole history of farm in the United States and how before Black people used to own a lot of farms, and now Black people doesn't own that many farms. But it was a time that they decided that they're gonna take away the farms for the Black people, the few Black people that own it. And as of now, it's not that many Black people owning farms. And they just went all over to just make sure that Black people didn't have none of the subsidies the white people, MAGA farms have. If I told you a story about my aunt, one of my aunts, she used to raise caimans. That is kind of an alligator, and she will sell each, I believe each alligator, she will sell it for like $700 or something, or more, like $1,000 each. So it was a really big price because the caimans, I think they are bigger than alligators, and you can sell the skin for, like, you know, for one of those companies that process, they do purses and do boots and all that, and also the meat was like really high in price. Like caiman is an extinction, it's an animal that is in extinction. So my aunt, she used to have a farm raising caimans, but when it wasn't in extinction. After that, they completely banned killing caimans. But she used to farm caimans, and she used to make a ton of money, a ton of money with that. So if you are up to up to that task and up to that business, yes, it's a good business.
The exclusion of Black farmers from federal assistance. For decades, Black farmers in the United States have faced systemic discrimination in accessing federal aid. Despite their contributions to American agriculture, Black farmers were routinely denied low-interest loans, grants, and subsidies from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, USDA. These programs were essential in helping farmers expand their land, purchase equipment, and survive economic downturns. But many Black farmers were locked out due to racist policies and local USDA officials who favored white farmers. During the 20th century, Black farmers lost millions of acres of land, often due to foreclosure or lack of financial support. Many who applied for USDA loans faced delayed processing, unfair denials, or excessive bureaucratic barriers. The 1999 class action lawsuit Pigford v. Glickman exposed these discriminatory practices, leading to a settlement meant to compensate affected farmers. However, many still struggled to receive meaningful assistance. Although reforms have been introduced, Black farmers continue to fight for fair access to federal resources. The lasting effects of past discrimination have contributed to the drastic decline of Black-owned farms, highlighting the ongoing struggle for justice and equity in the agricultural industry.
Oh my God!
I'm out here in the farm fields of Illinois. This is a bean field that just turned brown in mid-September. And there's a lot of concern over where the product that these farmers in Illinois have raised is going to be going and what kind of price they'll get for the crops they've raised. I grew up in this area. I went to Little Canaan High School. It's about 2 miles north of here. And I went to school with all the farm kids, and I even grew up in eastern Pennsylvania and went to school with Amish and Mennonite kids in Lancaster County. And growing up, I had an uncle who ran a farm in upstate New York. So I have some history with an empathy for farmers, because I watch how hard they work to get this crop in the ground, and its timing and the rains in spring, whether they come or not. One year it was too wet, the next year it's too dry. It's tough being a farmer. But what's even tougher is growing all this crops and having all the equipment and debt you need to be a farmer, and then be cast aside by things like tariffs. And that's what's so confusing to me. The people out here in farm country, a lot of them have Trump signs in their lawns. There's a huge one up the road here. When I'm cycling over the summer, I see them all over the place. Probably see 10 to 20 in a 40-mile ride. And that indicates to us that farmers are big into Republican values. And that's the other side of the coin here. You know, what is the ideology driving people to want to be Republican? Well, over the centuries, you know, that we've had farming here in the United States, there's been a lot of deception by conservatives. You know, the Dust Bowl came about because people were told to go on out, God will help you, and rain will follow the plow. And that was a lie. And what we wound up with is agricultural conditions that basically turned the entire Great Plains to dust. And there's sort of a similar thing going on in Illinois in many states, because soils are not in a great condition here either. And there's just sort of been this profit-oriented idea that it's your job to go and grind up the soil and get what you can out of it, get the best price for it, and we'll take care of the rest. You know, it's that classic sort of go, go, go ideology that people pride themselves on in America. But, you know, sustainability is a real problem. That's true in terms of economic markets, where a lot of crops from the United States are sold to other countries, for example, China. And now we've imposed tariffs on China, and guess who winds up paying the price? It's Illinois and Iowa and Wisconsin and Missouri and Nebraska and all these farmers that, you know, work their lives trying to sustain their crop output every year. And Trump doesn't care about those people, but what he does do, and this is sort of his method, he has never had a good grasp of forecasting policy. He bankrupted casinos, for instance, right? And many, many of his businesses failed, and those that did sort of succeed were dependent on creative bookkeeping. The guy is not a good planner. He could never be a good farmer. He sucks at everything he does. But somehow he came up with this let's do something about our markets idea with tariffs, and they've never been proven to work. And right now, something like 86 to 90% of the tariffs are being absorbed not by foreign companies, but by Americans paying higher product prices. And the farmers are the ones that get kicked right in the nuts. And what does Trump do? He uses taxpayer money to pay them off for the fuck-ups that he did. And that's the sick aspect of it. And all these guys with Trump signs out here, they're happy to ask for handouts now when many of them apparently don't like, you know, the idea that immigration people come here and, oh, they're using our tax dollars. Blame immigrants for everything. Well, guess what? A lot of our farm production, especially things like fruits and vegetables and everything, are reliant on immigrant workers. And so Trump is so fucking dumb about what really happens here on the earth that he's screwing everybody over. And these farmers out here, you sort of have to have empathy for them because they've been lied to. They've been deceived. And we need small farmers as well as big farmers. But during Trump's first term, when he first messed up with farm markets, Sonny Perdue, his Secretary of Agriculture, said to American farmers, tough luck, go big or go away. And so corporatized farmers, farming, and the seed crops owned by giant firms like Bayer and Monsanto and all of that are taking over. And if we don't have any local control over how food's produced, we're at the mercy of all of that, the corporatization of America and the oligarchy. And if you don't connect these dots and see that people out here are being deceived, and these are the same people basically voting for Trump, then you don't get it. Where will these crops go? We really don't know. They may rot in the bins, in the dryers, everything.
Just made it towards the end of this video. Please don't forget giving a like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps my channel to grow and it helps other people to find my content and my video. Please, if you feel like it, to gift me a coffee, here I will leave you all the information. I like a kid in the candy store every time that I get coffee money. So I so highly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.